All right, welcome to week 8. This week we are exploring the international dimension of political terrorism. This chapter begins with a brief discussion of how globalization has facilitated what Martin describes as the new terrorism, kind of throughout the text. Advanced communication technologies give terrorists unprecedented capacity to influence the international community. We'll discuss how globalization can both expand terrorist groups' incentives to play to a global audience over the course of the forum this week. So what makes an act of political terrorism international? In addition to indiscriminate violence, deliberately targeting non-combatants, or whatever verbiage you think captures the essence of terrorism, an act becomes international terrorism when it targets international interests or symbols such as aircraft or shipping. International terrorism is an excellent example of asymmetrical warfare, where the correlation of forces, the idea that one side is just significantly more powerful and has a greater capacity to blow things up than the other side, to the point where antagonists feel compelled to adopt unconventional, unexpected, or unpredictable tactics. Various Palestinian nationalist groups were among the first to employ international terrorism in the 1960s by hijacking aircraft to publicize the plight of the Palestinian people in their struggle with Israel. At that time, there literally were no security protocols for people getting on airplanes. There were no lines. If you could pay the airline industry's fare, you could board on the plane. They were literally treated like flying buses. That all changed in the aftermath of just an enormous, string of hijackings. Another important issue that Martin introduces in this chapter is the idea of a spillover effect, where domestic conflicts cross international borders. The rapid increase in civil wars throughout the developing world has seen an increase in these kinds of spillover effects, as contending groups will often seek refuge in a neighboring country in the midst of civil wars. For example, the Palestinian Liberation Organization used Jordan as a base of operations for several years in launching attacks against Israel, until Jordan finally expelled the PLO in military operations in 1970 that became known among the Palestinians as Black September. Those events were used as the justification for the massacre of Israeli athletes at the 1972 Munich Olympics. Rationales for going international beyond the pragmatic considerations that we've been talking about often include ideological rationales. Groups who resort to international terrorism also often invoke the ideological verbiage of anti-imperialism or neo-colonialism. In the Middle East, a lot of terrorist groups will often invoke Zionism as a basis for claiming that their attacks on Israel are simply matters of self-defense. We can again, address the Zionism issue in the course of the week in the forum. So that should give you enough to get started. We have 2 weekly assignments for week 8, but remember the second unit examination is just a few weeks away, so it's never too early to start reviewing and looking through the study guides. All right, let's have a great week.